I'm Rachel, who didn't want to do a voice impression. That was Shirley.
Did you think it was really Barbara Streisand? It's not. It's me, Shirley.
Alright. Yeah. This is episode 2, Podcasa Bonita. We are going to be talking about season 2 of South Park and the movie. South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut.
Yep. You get to hear us talk about stuff.
Again.
All over again.
Alright, the first episode. Yeah, the first episode is... Shirley, that's you.
First episode, that's my job, okay. That's my job now, huh? Okay, the first episode is the infamous Terrance and Phillip in Not Without My Anus.
It was, yeah, it was released on April 1st, 1998, and just for the record, is my favorite episode of this season.
Mine too.
Without a doubt.
So here is, these summaries are all from Wikipedia. Feel free to look them up if you want to. Terrance and Phillip travel to Iran to rescue Terrance's daughter, Sally, who is being held prisoner by Iranian police. A complex chain of events involving a female pop vocalist, a Middle Eastern dictator, and chemical warfare leads to hostile takeover of Canada. Terrance and Phillip attempt to save Sally and their home country.
Alright. This episode, like I said, was released on April Fool's Day, and that was for a reason. So, do you want to talk a little bit about that, Shirley?
Of course. So, most people remember this episode because it was an April Fool's Day prank. Since it aired on April Fool's Day, and they had left season 1 off with Cartman's mom is a dirty slut, which was a cliffhanger, Matt and Trey totally thought it'd be super funny to air a total, like, just Terrance and Phillip episode, which is, like, just total fuckery. You know, it's just random stuff. It's all Terrance and Phillip. And they thought, you know, people would think that was funny. And it's funny in retrospect, but back when it aired, people were really mad. Like, legitimately just furious. They sent them death threats. They called Comedy Central.
I think it's just a classic mistake of men thinking that South Park fans have a sense of humor, and they totally don't. So that just cracks me up. Like, you would think, but no.
See, I was a baby when this aired.
Me too.
So I think it's hilarious. But
yeah.
If they probably pulled a stunt like this now, I'd probably be just as furious. I'm gonna be real. But anyway, that's like kind of the background of this episode. But now we're gonna give our opinions on how funny this episode actually is. This
episode is the best of the season, I swear to God. I laughed at this whole episode. I fucking love Terrance and Phillip so much. Alright.
I love Terrance and Phillip. They're kind of polarizing. I feel like if you're a fan, you either love or hate Terrance.
Yeah, I agree.
And Phillip. But the whole episode at the end when to kill off, like, you know, what's his name? Saddam Hussein's, like, plan.
Yeah.
They all just, like, fart. That's it. That's all they do. Fart in a big stadium with gas masks.
Yeah, I just fart them out.
Every time. It gets you every time. And also, this is the first time, like, Saddam Hussein was ever shown in an episode, like, as a character.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about him at the end when we talk about the movie, but... They also had some pretty good Canadian characters in this. I love Dick... I call him Dick Scott. I don't know if that's what his real name is, but...
Scott the Dick.
Yeah. Alright, they also have Ugly Bob, who I think is hilarious.
Scott the Dick has appeared a lot more throughout the series, but Ugly Bob has appeared once more, I believe, in like season 15 in Royal Pudding. I wish they'd bring him back. I love the Canadians so much.
I know, it's so funny. And I love the whole joke where, like, Ugly Bob looks just like every other Canadian, yet he's so hideously ugly.
How funny, and I'm just now thinking about this, how funny would it be if, like, instead of, like, a Canadian Donald Trump, they just used, like, Ugly Bob as the Canadian Donald Trump, like, just to be mad and shit.
Oh, yeah. And I loved the scene when Terrance finds out that Ugly Bob was, like, having sex with Celine Dion or whatever, and he tells her that she's ugly. She's like, oh my God, I'm gonna have a freak baby. I laughed so hard. I love Celine Dion in this.
I love everything about this episode.
Me too.
It's legitimately funny. It's not, like, trying to be smart humor.
Yeah. little bit more, because I did love this episode.
Of course we do. Of course we do.
I did notice, because I love that one of the funniest things about South Park is how crappy the animation is, and I love how much crappier Canada is than America. Like, I didn't know they could get worse, but the animation is indeed crappier, which I loved. Alright, what else? You know what? There was just, like, this ongoing joke during the whole episode where Terrance and Phillip talk about Croft dinner all the time. And then let's go over to Croft dinner. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I still don't know. I forgot to Google it, but I don't know. I thought that was hilarious.
I just kind of want to know, like, how did Matt and Trey, like, in the writers think of, like, this total stereotype?
I know.
Like, where did they come up with Kraft dinner? Where did they come up with, like, the Celine Dion thing?
I know.
Like,
oh my god.
I know she's Canadian and everything, I'm assuming, but, you know.
Yeah. And this episode has one of my favorite Terrance and Phillip jokes. The part after they come out of the courtroom where Dick Scott tried to get them, like, arrested again. They're like, he's like, maybe he's homophobic, and he's like, but we're not gay. Wait, we're not? I love that joke. Like, it kills me.
I think that is such a nod to their relationship.
I know.
Honestly, people have accused them of being gay, and they're just like, we don't really care.
Yeah, I love how they always make jokes about, like, how they make love and shit all the time. Alright, and then last thing, I love the part at the end where Terrance I think it's the end, where Terrance and Phillip are, like, eating their Croft dinner and they're watching TV, and they're like, oh, look at stupid American TV, and they turn on South Park.
Yep. He's my father, and you just hear Cartman, like, blurt that out.
Yeah.
I think that really pissed fans off.
Yeah.
At that time, Matt and Trey didn't even know who the father was going to be. They didn't have the plot figured out for that episode, so I bet it just really pissed off people even more. I think it's funny.
Yeah, me too.
Today, if I was old enough to watch it, I'd probably be just as mad.
Yeah, I'd be driving to Matt and Trey's house with a machete. That'd be Shirley.
Yep.
Alright, so I think we're ready to move on now.
Finally. So our next episode is Cartman's mom is still a dirty slut, which I'm pretty sure, I don't even think they had planned to actually make this episode. I feel like they were kind of forced to make
well, yeah, it aired.
Because of the backlash.
It aired April 22nd, 1998, so these people had to wait like 3 more weeks to find out who Cartman's dad was after the Terrance and Phillip April Fool's thing.
Alright, so the summary is, just as Mephisto is about to reveal the identity of Eric Cartman's father, the genetic engineer is shot by a mysterious gunman who is on the run. Cartman attempts to resume his quest to find his real father, but his identity is never revealed. Meanwhile, Stan, Kyle, and Kenny have trouble at home. And that's it. Which, I don't know how accurate that is.
That's not accurate at all. What the hell? Stan, Kyle, and Kenny are at the hospital the whole time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then Mephisto's lab.
Kyle and Kenny are with Chef, trying to get Mephisto to the hospital.
What the fuck, Wikipedia?
So, probably these are all wrong.
I mean, Terrance and Phillip wasn't bad, but... Alright, let's see. I liked the kind of drama. It was kind of, like, ongoing drama of, like, what were they? Like, soap operas. And then also, like, the crime shows or whatever. They, like, the shows where they, like, reenact things. I love
like
those.
Forensic Files or
Yeah.
informative murder porn and everything. You know?
I loved when Mr. Garrison, like, auditioned for the part of himself and he didn't get it.
He didn't get it. That was funny. I love the cannibal storyline and everything, where they all are, like, locked. They're basically stuck in there for, like, a few hours, and they all just end up eating each other.
Yeah, they waited, like, 20 minutes to eat somebody.
Exactly.
Which I think is hilarious. Alright, what else? I actually kind of like this episode because, I don't know, because this episode and the other, Cartman's Mom with Dirty Slut, kind of did a good job with Cartman because he's such a little bastard. But I kind of like that they sort of showed him in, like, a more vulnerable light. I love when they, like, remind you that the kids are, like, just kids, you know? Yeah. You, like, felt bad for Cartman because he, like, wanted to know who his dad was so bad, and that's, like, such a real thing for a lot of kids. It's just, I don't know. Made me sad a little bit.
So, yeah, I think it's still a really funny episode. It was kind of, just kind of like a weird sort of twist on kind of like the who is Cartman's father and everything. At the end, which most people know, it's his mom is a hermaphrodite and everything, which stayed for a long time. That's just what people accepted until...
Yeah, they kind of had to, you know?
Yeah. It's got Tenorman's dad.
Yeah. Hey, Shirley, spoilers.
Spoilers, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself like I always do.
Yeah, real quick, another thing that I thought was pretty funny is that this kind of ongoing gag where, like, Stan is super grossed out by hospitals, and everything the hospital do is so gross, and he's puking everywhere. I just think it's so funny, like, looking at all the shit that they get up to now, like human centipede and shit like that. Like, those kids probably aren't afraid of or grossed out by anything anymore. They've got to have iron wills at this point. Iron
so
stomach.
Funny. Like, to me, I would think Kyle would be the one who's more like, ew, gross, you know? But Stan was, like I said, we were talking about it before, Stan is kind of a pussy.
Yeah.
In the earlier seasons.
Yeah, I agree. Like, Kyle's always been the tough one, so I don't know why everyone wants Kyle to be so sweet and, like, meek all the time. It totally doesn't fit him at all.
Yeah, Kyle's the one to, like, insult people earlier in the seasons and, like, you know, get into fights and everything. Just be a little shit. So.
Yeah, I know. Okay, let's go on to the next one.
Alright, the next episode is titled Ike's Wee Wee.
Which was released May 20th, 1998. Which is like a whole month later. I guess Mantrade didn't give a shit.
Because this season is the longest season that they've ever had. They did not have like a run schedule or anything. I think they just ordered a certain number of episodes and just said, just make them. I don't care how long it takes.
Comedy Central just wanted whatever, you know. Alright, read the summary.
Alright. After a mishap in the classroom during his lesson on the evils of drugs and alcohol, the school counselor, Mr. Mackey, is fired. Meanwhile, it's time for Ike's bris, and when Kyle and the boys find out what it means to be circumcised, they try to save him, Ike, from his fate. In the process, they discover the strange truth behind Ike's origins.
Alright, so I like this episode. I like the whole Mr. Mackey storyline better, I think, than the other one, because it's just such an obvious parody of, like, how drugs are talked about in schools, and like, Mr. Mackey was like, everything they say will happen if you try drugs one time. I love the ridiculousness of it.
Yeah, this is definitely kind of like a more leaning towards the left sort of episode, you know, because we all know Matt and Trey they had experimented with drugs, that's no secret for anybody, so, it's kind of like, I love that storyline, how, you know, he actually is happier, like, Mr. Mackey's so much happier with, like, just kind of not crazy drugs, just marijuana and everything, and it's like, it's not bad, and then they, you know, force him to say, like, oh, you have a problem,
Yeah,
so,
and then I love...
It's kind of like a good political episode, where it's not, like, way too heavy, it's still funny, but it's gotta...
Yeah, and I loved the line in this episode from Chef. There's a time and a place for everything, and it's called college, which I think is good advice. And I know specifically Trey has said in interviews that he really likes that line too, so I kind of like...
college students, so we know.
Yeah, I know. I was like, hey, that's me. And then I also liked, I wasn't super crazy about the whole Kyle storyline, but I did like that it kind of tackles the validity of adoption, and I like how Kyle's whole come into acceptance, and I've always thought it was adorable how protective Kyle is of Ike, so that storyline was pretty cute, actually.
See, I really liked that storyline. I liked it more than the other storyline. I don't know, I've always been a fan of Ike, just because he kind of looks funny, and he's adorable. I like the fact that he's a genius and everything, but this is kind of before they, like, made him, like, a genius. He was just a cute little baby.
Ike now is, like, so hardcore.
He was a cute little baby and everything, and, you know, I always just have liked Ike. I just think he's so adorable, and I love how, like, the issue of circumcision isn't, like, a big storyline in this, you know, they don't treat it like, you know, a big issue, which a lot of people do, so I'm happy that wasn't, like, the big political issue that they were going to tackle, like, whether or not you should snip up baby penis. You know?
Yeah. Alright, next episode.
Alright, next episode is Chickenlover.
Released May 27th, 1998. And I believe Ben and Trey wanted to call this one Chicken Fucker, but they kind of essentially again wouldn't let them.
They want it to be softer. You know?
Yeah.
Chicken Fucker is so harsh. You know?
It is.
Makes love to these chickens.
Yeah.
You know?
Really tenderly.
Actually, he doesn't. He kind of likes respect my
Yes!
authority.
Oh my god, I loved Cartman in this episode. Him riding around like his tricycle or whatever, pulling people over.
Exactly. See, that's the thing that's memorable about this episode. Nobody really remembers anything about Bar Brady, you know, or the actual chicken fucker, but everybody remembers respect my authority.
Yeah, everyone remembers like Cartman's parody of Cops, basically. That's what people remember.
Exactly. That's pretty much the best part of this episode, anyway, in my opinion.
I also love the joke where like Bar Brady is like the only cop South Park has, so he has to like quit momentarily, and then the town just falls apart immediately. Like, really, Bar Brady was the one keeping things good around here.
Yeah, and then this is like, it was so weird thinking about like he was their only cop because like Detective Yates kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like later in the season,
Like they realized they need an actual police force.
Exactly, which, you know, I think Detective Yates kind of like replaced Bar Brady in a way, but that's again further down.
Yeah, wait. Yeah. Alrighty. Want to go to the next one? I know, we do that a lot. Alright, want to go to the next one?
Yeah, not much to say about Chickenlover.
Yeah.
It's just kind of there. The next episode is Conjoined Fetus Lady.
Yeah, it aired June 3rd, 1998, so it seems like Mantra are into a little bit of a schedule now. They're coming out every
And then
week.
they go back and like totally fuck it up.
Yeah.
With Pip as their star player, the South Park dodgeball team is off to the championships. Back in town, the local citizens declared a conjoined twin dyslexia awareness week in a misguided attempt to help school nurse deal with a strange medical disorder.
This is kind of stupid, but like watching this, like my first thought was like, since when is Chef the gym teacher too? Like,
Exactly.
why? I don't understand.
Gosh, they used to use Chef. It made me realize they used to use Chef so much.
Yeah.
Like, way back in the day, even when Isaac Hayes was still working on the show. Like, after season 4 and on, he wasn't in a lot.
Yeah, he was
Chef
kinda...
wasn't in a lot. You know, he only stayed till season 9, I believe, or season 8 or season 9.
Season 9,
He quit. But or the Scientology made him quit.
Yeah.
But for anybody who's read that article.
And then, this episode also has Pip finally snapping, I guess. I think it's his own storyline, but I didn't really have a lot to say about that because I think Pip kind of sucks, but...
See, he's like a value brand Butters.
Yeah, I would...
Even though he's the original Butters, he's definitely not as good.
Yeah, it's like
as
Chanel versus Walmart of Butters. Butters is Chanel. Alright, I really liked the episode, or the storyline with the conjoined fetus lady. I thought it was a really good way of looking at how, well-meaning abled people, like, often make things harder for disabled people, even though they're trying to help, but they're, like, really not. So, I thought they did a good job.
Yeah, I really like it because they also kind of, the storyline is her wanting to be, like, included and not being singled out and everything and treated like somebody less, and they kind of did that with Timmy, too.
Yeah.
They do that a lot with Timmy, like, he's not just the, retarded kid or anything. He's not disabled to the boys, he's just one of the boys.
He's just Timmy, yeah.
And that's what she wants to be. She wants to be just everybody.
Just another person. Alright, just want to go to the next one?
Yep, let's move on. Next episode is The Mexican Staring Frog of Southern Sri Lanka.
Aired June 10th, 1998.
Alright, the boys get back at Jimbo and Ned for telling a false story about being in the Vietnam War. Meanwhile, the producer tries to reinvent Jesus and Pals to save it from low ratings. God, I keep forgetting about Jesus and Pals.
Right? So is everyone in Southport, apparently. Alright. I think it's kind of funny. I was watching like this hunting and killing show that like Jimbo and Ned have, and it's like so bad, and they only have like 6 viewers, and I'm like, did they just give anybody a show in South Park? Honestly, you're such an ass. Really, like.
But I love Jimbo and Ned. This
yeah, they're pretty
watching
funny.
This kind of made me realize like I miss Jimbo and Ned a lot. They're like Jimbo's really funny for some reason
I agree.
to me because I live in an area just like filled with Jimbos, but like unironic Jimbos, like they're actual
Yeah.
like total rednecks, So I think he's super funny.
Yeah. I thought it was really funny too how like the whole storyline where Jesus' producer is trying to like save the ratings in the show, but I'm like, how are the ratings bad if he's like a full live audience? You know, like when he's shooting the show, like the it's packed in there. How are they doing bad in the ratings? I don't get it.
Plot hole.
Yeah. And then I did love how Jesus and Pals became the Maury show. I did love that. People like fighting and shit. That was pretty good. And then how the producer like ended up in hell or whatever.
Yeah. See, there's not much for me to say about this episode. It's kind of just like a little bit of just a choppy story.
Yeah.
With like some really good jokes mixed.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the only other thing I have to say is that like has a pretty good message about the repercussions of lying, stuff like that. But that's really. I don't have much else.
Saturday morning sort of cartoon message.
Yeah, I agree. Alright, so do the next one?
Move on?
Yep, I'm ready.
Alright, next we're gonna have The City on the Edge of Forever, which most people know as Flashbacks.
Alright. I actually liked this episode. I was kind of bummed to watch it. I was like, oh, it's this one, but I actually liked it.
Yep. This aired June 17th, 1998, and the summary is, in this clip show episode, that's pretty much all you need to know.
Yeah.
Miss Crabtree becomes a famous stand-up comedian while the South Park kids reminisce on their adventures while they're stuck on the bus on the edge of a cliff.
Yes. Actually, I love the parody of flashback episodes that sitcoms have. I think they did a good job, because those episodes are always so lame. Like, nothing ever happens. It's just them talking about the stuff that happened before. It's
like, nobody likes the clip show, and I was, going back and watching this, I had forgotten that the boys, like, interpreted different ways in their own mind. So, going back, I was like, wait, why is Stan making out with Wendy and everything? You know, so
I actually thought it was kind of deeper and sweeter than that, I guess. I think, because if you watch, like, every single, like, thing that they remember, like, oh, remember this happened, it always kind of ends with them eating ice cream and and they laugh and everything's okay. And I thought it was.
They always say that's what I'd call a sticky.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cute though, because like it's all these memories of like, oh, that turned out okay in the end. It's kind of reassuring themselves that they'll be okay in this scary situation. So I was kind of like, oh, even though I ended up being in a dream the whole time, but. But yeah, I was Stan having a dream about Cartman having a dream.
Exactly. It's funny. This episode's funny to me because it's so weird having a clip show after only having just a few episodes.
I know.
I've not been around that long in order to, like, entail an actual clip episode.
I know.
There's only 1.5 seasons going on right now. Like, you guys are already doing a clip show?
Really, I know. The only other thing I have to say about this episode is the joke at the beginning where Cartman's like eating a cake and then he won't share it with anyone else. And it's like an entire cake that he has in the bus with him. Like, why does he have that? It's a whole cake. I thought that was so funny.
And there's also like the Miss Crabtree storyline and everything, which she was definitely, there were so many characters in season 1 and season 2 that were like so prominent at the beginning, and then I guess they just didn't, they didn't feel right or something, and they just kind of stopped using them.
Yeah.
Like, I thought her storyline was kind of boring.
Yeah.
She just kind of happens to become a stand-up comedian just by screaming and yelling.
Yeah.
Which, there are some comedians like that, so
yeah, there
that is
definitely are.
funny.
Alrighty, ready to go on?
Let's move on. Alright. Next episode is Summer Sucks.
Aired June 24th, 1998.
The town bans fireworks after a North Park kid gets injured and must come up with an alternative for their 4th of July celebration. Meanwhile, Mr. Garrison loses Mr. Hat to Brett Favre, and Cartman struggles with swimming lessons in a pool full of urinating first graders. I will have to say this is my least favorite. This is probably my least favorite of the of season 2.
Yeah, I didn't really have a lot to say. The only stuff I had to say was like, I like the part where they call Chef and he's like on vacation, like Hawaii or something. Yeah. And I thought, I'm like, oh, it's probably because Chef left. That's why everything's so shitty right now. Because Chef makes everything okay. And then I think the best joke was in Chef coming back to like everyone doing blackface with the suit. God. Yeah. He's like, oh hell no. That cracked me up. Otherwise, this episode was just alright. I think I agree with you.
It's not that I dislike this episode. It's just, to me, it's like the least eventful and kind of like the least clever, I would say. Like, that's just my personal.
The only thing that really happened that was eventful was that, like, Mr. Hat got replaced with Mr. Twig in this episode. Because Mr. Hat, like, ran away with Brett Favre or something, I don't know.
Yeah, and they have, like, this giant, like, snake firework and everything that just covers the whole town in ash and everything.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
One scene I really did like, with Jimbo and Ned, was when they're getting the illegal fireworks and everything, and they just come back, and Jimbo keeps answering, like, God damn it, I keep on answering it wrong. Where,
yeah, it's like, do you have any fireworks?
Yeah. Firearms, and he goes, yep.
Like, every time, yeah. And Ned's like, alright, try it again. That was a pretty good joke. Yeah. Okay, next one.
Next one. Chef's Chocolate Salty Balls.
It aired August 19th, 1998. I believe this is the start of the second run of the second season, which is probably why it was such a long gap.
Yep, a film festival from Los Angeles comes to South Park and corrupts it with their lack of culture. Meanwhile, Kyle tries to save Mr. Hanky from dying, and Chef tries to cash in on the festival by selling his suggestively named treats, chocolate salty balls.
Can I say that I love the Chef's chocolate salty balls song? It's so funny.
See, fun fact about the actual song, like the actual song that they wrote, Chocolate Salty Balls, it became like number one song for like a week in the UK.
Wow.
Like,
that's funny.
When it aired, and they actually like had recorded it as a song, it was like on the top charts in England. So
it's kind of funny though, because like don't men try to say a lot that they have like a British sense of humor, and they always I think that's kind of funny. That's kind of proving them right. I liked this episode because it was kind of ripping on Hollywood and film festivals and stuff. I know Matt and Trey are like super against that, and talking about independent films. And I love Cartman's whole joke.
Cowboys eating pudding.
Yeah. Like when Stan goes back and then Cartman's like, "Was it about gay cowboys eating pudding?" And Stan's like, "Yeah, pretty much." Like, you were right, man.
Yeah, this one's pretty funny. I like how they kind of, when I think about it, they talk a lot about sex exploration films and everything. In Matt and Trey interviews, they often talk about when they were in film classes, people would try to make sexual exploration films and everything. So I think it's kind of a parody of that too. And people taking themselves way too seriously.
Yeah, I agree. And this also brought Mr. Hanky back. And I actually did like this storyline.
With the Fantasia hat.
Yeah, I always love when Kyle and Mr. Hanky have something going on. I think it's adorable and pretty funny too. I love the part at the end where Mr. Hanky like becomes like a wizard or some shit, and he's like he gets everyone out of town, and they're like, yay! The film festival people are out, and then the mayor's like, oh yeah, now we have a town full of shit. That's way better. I love the mayor.
Pretty funny episode. Mm-hmm. It's a good episode. Ready to move on?
Yes, I am.
All right. Next episode, I love this episode, is Chickenpox.
Yes, pretty good one. August 26, 1998 is when it aired.
And it says, the boys' mothers force their children to hang out with Kenny just so they can get chickenpox. Meanwhile, Kyle's mom tries to patch up the long-broken relationship between her husband and Kenny's dad.
I love how they say that they're forced to hang out with Kenny, like implying that none of them really like Kenny all that much. It's kind of bumming. It kind of bums me out to hear.
See, one of my favorite parts of this episode is it's so short, but it's Cartman singing "In the Ghetto."
Yes, in the ghetto.
Like, I used to sing that. I didn't know it was like an actual song when I was in like middle school. I would just sing it like in the hallways with my friends, thinking we were so funny, just singing "In the Ghetto."
And this episode is kind of like a first look at how poor Kenny is. Because, like, Cartman always rips on Kenny, but you never see it. But, yeah. I like when Cartman's like, am I to hear that there's going to be no appetizers at this meal? Like, there's just olive and frozen waffles. And he's so spoiled.
Am I to understand there will be no side dishes?
Yeah. I think the funniest part, I also like the Okie Mouth game that Kyle and Kenny have to play. They like spit each other's mouths.
See, there are so many things about this episode that I find super funny. I obviously love the ending where the kids find out, you know, their parents did this on purpose, so they go hire a prophet to give their families, you know, herpes and everything. And every once in a while, like nowadays, if like my parents are yelling at me or something, I'll go, I'm giving herpes.
Cartman.
Don't be like Cartman. But,
honestly, I think the funniest joke in this episode is like at the beginning when they just get there and they're rolling out their sleeping bags. Kyle and Stan.
Steve Urkel.
Okay, yeah, Kyle and Stan have like Terrance and Phillip, and Cartman rolls out this Steve Urkel sleeping bag.
It's the Steve Urkel sleeping bag, isn't it cool?
No, Cartman.
Like out of
Oh yeah, I'm like crying.
anybody, it was Steve Urkel. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Another thing I liked about this episode, see, there are tons of things, and but one of my favorite things is also kind of like it's more ironic than funny to me, but another storyline is with Gerald and Kyle Kenny's dad.
God, Shirley.
Kenny's dad. I'm such a terrible fan. Kenny's dad, like Stewart, that's his name. They're like trying to rekindle and everything, and there's like this whole commentary about like kind of like social classes and everything, and economic classes. Yeah. And like Kyle ends up writing a paper.
This horrible paper.
Like exterminating everybody who's like poor and everything. I'm like, okay, like modern day Kyle would never do something like
he was
that.
still growing as a person.
See,
He's 10 now. He wouldn't do that.
He acted like such a he was like a tiny little kid.
I
Like,
know.
He had the mentality, and then over the years,
I know. They've grown so much.
he's grown so much.
Like, Kyle would beat the shit out of anyone who wrote that paper. Like, now, Kyle?
Like that is nothing like Kyle. So.
Yes. Alright, you want me to go on?
Yep, we talked a lot about that one.
Yes, we
The
did. That's a
next
good
one is Roger Ebert should lay off the fatty foods.
And it aired, hold on, September 2nd, 1998.
Yep, and it says the town is brainwashed by a curator of a planetarium. Meanwhile, Cartman auditions for the new Cheesy Poops commercial.
Alright, this one was okay, I thought.
Yeah, it's not one of my favorites. It's okay. It does the Cheesy Poops commercial storyline is pretty funny.
Yeah, I like that one.
With Cartman.
Cartman
I don't
singing
have
it.
like any interesting facts for this one either.
The only thing I found funny was, I think, the scene where they're learning about haikus or whatever, and Cartman, and then Kyle's like super good at it, but he's just using all these haikus to like rip on Cartman, and they're so mean. Like, here's like one of them is like ass full of pork fat, tickles like a Jello mold, mouth is flapping too. I'm like, oh my god, Kyle's a savage, like straight up.
Kyle is straight up savage. Like,
He is. He's so mean.
Now he just kind of bickers with Cartman.
Yeah.
He doesn't really give out.
But he used to like pick on him in the early
He
ones.
doesn't roast him anymore. Roast Cartman 2K16.
Yeah, right? Alright, what else did I have? Really nothing else about this one. This one wasn't that great.
This one just kind of exists and everything. You know, brainwashing kids and all that. So we're just gonna move on.
Yeah, let's go.
Let me see. Next one is Clubhouses. I like this one.
Yes, it aired September 23rd, 1998. I like this one too.
And it's, the description is, the boys create a clubhouse so they can get girls to play Truth or Dare. Meanwhile, Stan's parents divorce. Which is the second time, or the first out of two times that they've divorced. Like,
I actually like this episode because I love seeing the kids like play little kid games together. And I love because Wendy and Bebe run it. And Bebe is really funny in this episode.
Baby, like, shake it, baby! I want to wear your ass as a hat!
Yeah.
Like, that's totally a reference to Matt's sweet ass. Like, come on.
I know, it totally
I'm talking
is.
about a 45-year-old man, like, right now. That's kind of
Well, they had like sweet ass jokes in like basketball, right? I mean, it's not that weird that we know that.
You got to see his sweet ass.
Yes.
Basketball. There's a little shot right there. But, yeah, this episode in general is pretty funny. I like I kind of like the stepdad storyline and everything.
Yeah.
Because he's just the stereotypical, like, stepdad, you know? He's like, why won't you let me in your life?
Yeah.
I don't even remember the guy's name.
I know.
That's how memorable he
I think it was. Oh my god, I don't either. I think it was Roy or something.
Yeah.
I remember when I was younger. This was like the first episode that I really like related to, and I watched it. And I was like, oh my god, this is like speaks to my soul. Because like honestly, like I think Matt and Trey like wince in and spied on me when I was like 12, and they wrote this episode about my parents' divorce. Like, honestly, it was like to the T. It was so spot on.
Technically, you weren't even 12 when this episode was
I know, I'm kidding, but but I'm like, that's literally my parents' divorce. What the hell?
Yeah, it's it also has like the I love the scene where it's like the oh my god, you killed Kenny, and he just like Cartman is with Kenny in Cartman's clubhouse, and Kenny dies, and Cartman says, "Oh my God, they killed Kenny," and Kyle's just like walking by the clubhouse and goes, "You bastard," and like walks past. Like that was funny.
Yeah, I like that part.
All right, you ready to move on?
Sure.
All right, the next episode is Cow Days.
Oh, it aired September 30th, 1998.
And an interracial couple wins a vacation to South Park on a game show. They arrive when the town is celebrating the 45th annual Cows Day Festival. The boys try and win Terrance and Phillip dolls. For part of their plan, Kyle enters Cartman in a bull riding contest.
This is another.
That's basically the episode.
It's just another episode of Kyle being a straight up savage. I swear to God, like he's so hell bent and intense about getting these dolls, and it's hilarious and kind of like almost intimidating and like
crappy.
Yeah, like Kyle, relax.
Dolls. And yeah, there's again like the whole description kind of like just covers all of the episode.
Yeah, pretty much. This is a weird storyline with a couple that goes on vacation to South Park, but I don't really like that storyline that much, to be honest.
No,
it's okay.
It's kind of like the Children of the Corn parody episode.
Yeah.
Like, new people come to the town, they get weirded out. And they leave.
Yeah, but that one they did.
First.
Yeah, that one they did way better. The only other thing I have to say about this is that I remember that they mentioned that, like, I think Jimbo said when he was announcing that, like, last year 3 people were killed during the running of the cows. They're like, I still do it anyway. Like, they don't add any safety precautions either. Just do it again. Who cares?
Yeah. But, alright, we're gonna move on.
Alright.
Again, it's another boring one. Let's see. Chef Aid. When Chef is sued for pointing out that Alanis Morissette's new song is actually a song he wrote years ago, the boys hire Chef's famous musician friend to raise money. Meanwhile, Mr. Garrison suspects Mr. Hat of several attempts on Mr. Twig's life.
Alright, this one was aired October 7th, 1998. And it's the return of Mr. Hat. I know you guys are. Everyone was missing him, right?
Yeah, of course, because he's everybody's favorite.
Yeah, I love the whole thing where, like, there's, like, a gag throughout the episode where Kyle, I think it's usually Kyle, but the other kids are there, and they're like, where's Mr. Hat? And Mr. Garrison's, like, getting all pissed off. But I'm like, why are they even asking? They didn't care about Mr. Hat in the first place, so.
Yeah. I love the song in this episode, Stinky Britches.
Yeah.
And it's actually covered by, like, 4 different artists, and I know 2 of them. I can't remember the other 2, but Alanis Morissette does the cover, and Chef obviously sings it, and then there's, like, a Marilyn Manson one.
Oh, yeah.
You've got Stinky Britches, like...
That's funny.
Just a little goofy episode.
Yeah. The only other thing I have to say is that I noticed that, like, Johnny Cochran is in this one, and he does the Chewbacca defense or whatever, and I noticed that, like, that Mantre rip on him in this episode, and they rip on him in Book of Mormon, too, so I think it's kind of funny. I'm like, I wonder if they, like, have a vendetta against Johnny Cochran, I don't know.
I guess he's just kind of an easy target.
Yeah, I can see that. Alright, ready to go on? I am.
Let's go. Here's one of your favorites.
Yes, I like this one.
Spookyfish.
October 28th, 1998 is when this one aired.
Beings from the parallel universe come to South Park, including such creatures as nice versions of Eric Cartman, and a killer goldfish. And it's also the return of Barbra Streisand, making fun of Barbra Streisand.
Yeah!
Like, they have Spooky Vision with Barbra Streisand's face all around the border of the screen.
That always cracks me up.
They did that I'm pretty sure they did that in retaliation because they said, like, she said that Matt and Trey were the reason for all the negativity in the world. So
they had to get back at her, of course.
They had to get back.
Alright. Yeah. I remember last podcast I said that I would, like, look in all the Halloween episodes to see if there was a Chewbacca costume, but I, like, totally forgot. I didn't look.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone.
There's one in there.
Alright. Basically, I love this episode a lot, but, like, the storyline where Stan's fish, like, murders people, and then Sharon, like, goes crazy and, like, covers it up is, like, kind of fucked up. Like, it's funny, but, like...
And we also talked about, how, you know, Kyle Cartman's evil
Yes.
versions of themselves, like,
are super evil. Because implying that Stan and Kyle are super nice.
Yeah, I mean, they're not. They're
Yeah.
just assholes.
Like, Kyle and Stan,
assholes
yeah.
like kids
Kyle and Stan are, like, super mean the first seasons. Like, they pick on Cartman a lot, and he does deserve it because he's Cartman, but, like, they're kind of, like I said, they're savage, they're mean.
are. And why are all the evil people, like, the ones with beards? I don't know what.
Yeah, why do they have
one's
goatees?
Weird, what separates them. I guess they
know.
did that for, like, visual aid
Yeah.
and everything, but
Yeah.
why that? You know?
I know, right? And one of like the best parts of the storyline was when Cartman keeps saying "hella" the whole episode, and Kyle's getting so mad because he thinks it's so lame. And I thought it was so funny because like I say "hella" all the time. Like
I say it too. Like, I thought "hella" was like kind of like a relatively new thing that people would say. People didn't say it a lot when I was like in middle and elementary school and
Yeah.
everything. And then as I got older, people were like "hella."
Yeah, I didn't start saying it until recently.
And then I went back and watched this episode. I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's so funny, watching Kyle like rip on Cartman for saying that. Like I say it all the time. So I'm like, ooh.
And
I guess that's not cool.
Also super funny. The concept of ant flow.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even subtle. It's not subtle.
I know. And Flo used as the metaphor for Sharon menstruating, which I love.
Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna go on to one of my favorite episodes of this season. Not my favorite because, I mean, Not Without My Anus is definitely the
A
best.
classic.
But, Merry Christmas, Charlie Manson.
Aired December 9th, 1998. Another great episode.
Oh yeah, Stan runs away to visit Cartman's relatives in Nebraska. Meanwhile, Cartman's uncle and Charlie Manson break out of prison and kidnap the kids. Eventually, Manson learns the true meaning of Christmas.
Alright, you and I talked about this earlier, but can we talk about how great the Cartman family is?
The Cartman family is my favorite part of this episode.
Me too.
I wish we could see more of his extended family because I love Elvin, his like or Melvin.
I think it was Elvin.
His little Elvin, his
Little mini
cousin
me.
Sam, where he just kind of like hits him on the head, and the little kid just goes weak.
Yeah. It's like a little Cartman.
Like, so funny.
I love the part where like Kyle wakes up in the middle of the night like screaming. He's like, "Oh my god, I had a nightmare that we were at a house full of Cartmans." And it stands like, "Dude, we are." And I'm like, which is funny because I'm
like his grandma with her like, oh gosh, was it her colostomy bag? Or it's like
yeah.
Bag and everything.
He's like, "Hold this while we're eating dinner." But yeah, I like the whole joke where Kyle like wakes up because like, why did they think this was a good idea in the first place? Like they didn't think this through at all.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like that, they are definitely the highlight of this.
They are.
His family. Like, who cares about Charlie Manson? And then there's also the storyline of them wanting to go see Mr. Hanky and the guy.
Yeah.
Which is actually voiced. The guy in the Mr. Hanky costume is voiced by Dean Bakar.
Mm-hmm.
Or Bahar, I don't know. He was, like, at one point they're friends. He did Orgasmo and Cannibal.
Oh,
and
that guy, okay.
He plays Squeak.
Yeah,
You know?
the one they made fun of all the time.
So he's voiced a lot of characters in earlier South Park before they kind of, like, had their falling out and everything, but...
Okay. Alright, what else do I want to say?
Alright, next... Oh, are you ready?
Yeah, I really don't have anything else.
And second to last, we have Gnomes.
Which was Tweek's first big episode, technically. And
Tweek's breakout episode.
Yeah, the introduction of the underpants gnomes.
Yeah, the boys are forced to write a current events paper to save Mr. Garrison's job. Stan, Kyle, Cartman, and Kenny are grouped together with Tweek, a jittery child who suggests that the presentation be on the underpants gnomes. Tiny men who sneak into his house and steal his underwear. Meanwhile, a local cafe ran by Tweek's parents is being threatened by a big-time corporate coffee shop.
This was released December 16th, 1998. I forgot to say that. This episode has a good kind of message about big companies destroying like the small family-owned businesses and like Tweek's parents exploiting the boys and shit.
Exactly, but in the end, it kind of says like, hey, corporations aren't terrible. Like, if you want to support your little places, go support your little places. It's just about quality.
Yeah, I think this was like, It's just like another cool instance of like Mantra taking a stance that like you wouldn't think they would take. You know?
Yeah.
It's like
It's definitely in the middle of the road.
Mm-hmm.
It's a middle of the road sort of.
Yeah.
At least that's what I took away from it.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of group like nowadays. Especially after Member Berries, I group the Underpants Gnomes, the Member Berries, and like Crab People all kind of together. I know they're completely like different things. They each were like written for different reasons, but for some reason they're just kind of that meta, totally like
fucking weird stuff.
What the fuck is that? Sort of, like creation, you know? They're all just kind of like that.
Yeah,
so I
can
always
see
like
that.
mentally group them together.
And I love the whole.
Oh, that makes me think of Member Berries. Oh, that makes me think of Underpants Gnomes.
I love the whole thing where like the Underpants Gnomes only like go unnoticed by the town because the people like aren't observant at all, like, which is hilarious to me because like the gnomes are like stealing people's underpants like right off their bodies. I don't even notice.
Exactly. But I never found them actually like that funny. I found Tweak's like reactions.
Yeah, I think the whole like like phase 1 steal underpants, phase 2, the phase 3 profit thing really funny, but like the Underpants Gnomes on their own were like.
Yep. So, yep. That's that episode, and we're gonna move on to our last episode, which is Prehistoric Ice Man.
It aired January 20th, 1999.
Together, Stan and Kyle discover a man who has been trapped in ice since 1996, but they argue when they assign him different names. Meanwhile, the Iceman tries to reconnect with his wife and kids.
Alright. I really don't have much for this episode. I like that it was Stan and Kyle's like first fight, and I like that it was a cool way of like showing little 8-year-old boys fight.
It was a very realistic 8-year-old boy fight, you know? I feel like Matt and Trey kind of like captured what's 8th graders are 8-year-olds are kind of like really like they kept them a little more like kiddish back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, they were definitely more childish. You know, they
Yeah.
didn't quite understand sex. They didn't understand
All the shit they understand now.
words. You know, and now they're just kind of like college kids. You know,
Yeah.
they act like you and me.
Exactly.
They grew up with us. You know?
And
I think where this episode shines is definitely the Prehistoric Ice Man. Like, the joke is he's from, 1996.
yeah. And it's like this whole parody of like time travel movies where they like discover someone from the past, blah blah.
So it's only like a 3-year difference. So that's pretty funny.
I love the part where like Stan and Kyle are fighting over his name. It's like, it's Steve, it's Gorak, and then he's like, I still my name is Larry. But like no one even pays attention. They're like,
So yeah, I don't have much to say about his fight.
Me either. This one's
I don't
alright.
have, like,
This one's okay.
There's not like a huge message behind it, I don't think.
Yeah. Alright.
Well, that was season 2. We're
It
gonna talk
was.
about
South Park, the movie now.
Yeah. But going back and talking about the season again, like I think going back before I had watched all the episodes, I was like, oh, I don't really like this season that much. In my head, I kind of already had like a negative connotation to it. And then I went back and watched it, and I'm like, there are a lot of funny episodes.
Yeah.
You know, that they're all like pretty good episodes.
Yeah,
There
I
are
think-
a few that are missed.
I think I actually liked season 1 a lot more than this season, but I still like the season because like I feel like there are a lot of episodes that are like they're just okay.
And
So.
Trey has also said that he doesn't like some of this season and some of season 3.
Yeah.
Like he said different things, but we kind of know that he didn't like the writing aspect of season 2 and season 3.
Yeah.
So anyway, on to the movie.
All right, South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut.
Funny
Lots
thing
to
about
say.
that title, it was gonna be titled South Park All Hell Breaks Loose, but MPAA said no, you can't have hell in your title, which they do now.
Yeah.
You can have hell in your title now, but so they're like, okay, we'll just make it worse and describe a cock. So
Yeah.
but that's why we have bigger, longer, cut, which I think is a better name.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's better, and I kind of like. I mean, it's not good for censorship, but I kind of like when people tell Matt and Trey that they have to redo something because I think that the Fractured Butthole's original title was like Butthole of Time. I think Fractured Butthole was much better, so I'm glad that.
See, like that's another huge theme. Like like in making the movie, they've explained in interviews that whenever the MPAA would like tell them you needed to change something, they'd make it so much worse, and it always like.
Yeah, they're always just like, okay, fine. Like the scene in the movie where Cartman's mom is doing like a German porn movie. Alright, so basically everything going on. Oh, fucking, someone's messaging me on Skype, sorry. Everything that's going on in this movie is there's like a plot, B plot, and a C plot. A plot is that Terrance and Phillip is corrupting the boys or whatever, and the moms eventually declare war on Canada. The B plot is about Satan, who Kenny meets when he goes to hell, and then Saddam Hussein taking over the world. And the C plot is Stan, who really wants Gwenny to like him again, so he has to find the clitoris.
Yeah, and the fact that this is another like ratings thing where they've, as I watched the show more or watched the movie more, I've kind of like got the message. But they're saying like it's so much easier to show violence, and violence is so like gore and violence is just so you can get it through like anything in the media. Like anybody can show violence and nobody bats an eye. But the second you say like a dirty word or like say something sexual, it's like such a big problem.
Yeah.
Like, at the same time, you can show people killing themselves and being super violent. Like,
yeah, that's totally fine.
They start a whole war just over dirty
exactly.
words, you know?
The movie isn't even subtle about it. Like Sheila even says, like, "Oh, violence is fine, but as long as we don't have any dirty words, you know." She's like, "That's what this war is all about."
Exactly.
I loved Sheila as an antagonist in the movie. I loved her.
I miss Sheila.
Me too.
I'm kind of jumping to season 20, but I'm really hoping we'll see some more of her because she's such a good character.
She's hilarious. I think she's really funny. I miss Sheila. I wish they would use her more. I agree.
She's like just a great character. I've always found her like so funny. Like she's an antagonist, but she's not the kind of character that you like just really, really, really hate.
Yeah, I mean you can understand where she's coming from. She's kind of annoying at best, you know, but
she's the mom. You know, she's the mom. You understand where she's coming from.
Yeah, and I liked Kyle's whole journey in this episode, or I don't know if to call it a journey, but his whole storyline where he can't stand out to his mom or whatever, and he finally does at the end when he stands in front of Terrance and Phillip. I don't know, I like that a lot.
And there are also like a ton of new characters in this movie that haven't really made appearances, but we definitely, I mean, number one is like Saddam Hussein and Satan.
Yes.
Like those two characters. I love it when Satan is in an episode.
Yeah,
he's always written so well.
The Saddam Hussein and Satan relationship is so funny. Like it cracks me up.
Do you have to disrespect me in front of everybody?
Yeah.
Like, whenever I hear that, I just get a mental picture because I'm totally betting. Like since Matt played Saddam Hussein and Trey voices Satan, like I just hear in my head, I just picture them like talking like that to each other in a recording booth. Like Matt's just going, "Come on, guy, here's my little cream puff." It just sounds so funny.
Right?
I would pay to like have just like a recording of like a video recording of them just talking like that.
Yeah, I know. I think my favorite one-off character from the movie is the mole. I love the mole so much. I think he's hilarious. All his, I don't know, just every line he has just kills me. I love him.
He's really, and there are a few new kid characters. There's the Christopher, I think is his name. He's the kid that Wendy.
Oh, it's Gregory.
He's kind of like Stan's rival.
Yeah, his name's Gregory. His name's Gregory though.
Gregory. Yeah. I don't know where I got Christopher.
Well, the mole's real name is Christoph, so.
That's it. That's what I was getting to. But yeah, like he doesn't really do much, but most of the new characters are like kind of like newer characters. Like Saddam Hussein had been used before, but
yeah, and Terrance and Phillip
had been used before, but they were still so funny in this.
Yeah, I like Terrance and Phillip in this movie too. They were fun. I like their Uncle Fucker music video.
Yeah, speaking of like the Uncle Fucker, like the songs in here are so great.
Honestly, yeah, I watched the movie last night, and I've been like listening and re-listening to the soundtrack like ever since, like all day.
It's
I
so
always,
great. Like some of the best South Park songs ever come from this movie, and honestly, like if they didn't, because Blame Canada doesn't swear, I think that's the only reason think all of them are Oscar-worthy. They just
Yeah.
couldn't show it on live television.
Mhm.
Like, Uncle Fucker would have won the Oscar.
Yeah, I agree.
Uncle Fucker would have won
Right?
the
Suck
Oscar.
it, Phil Collins.
And, like, something that confused me, I don't know if it was, like, a range thing or a skill thing, but, Trey actually sings the song I'm Super.
Mhm.
Like, I can tell.
Really?
I don't know. I haven't looked, like, to make sure, but I can, like, hear that it's Trey.
Yeah.
Even though Matt voices.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Now, he doesn't sing I'm Super. I don't know if Matt just didn't feel comfortable doing it. But then at the same time, Matt was the one who sang I Can Change, which is Saddam Hussein's song.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't he sing I'm
Maybe,
Super?
I don't know, maybe,
I wanted to hear that.
maybe Trey just really wanted to. I don't know, maybe, because Trey, I love Trey, he's kind of a control freak. So maybe he just kind of wanted, like, to do it his certain way to get it right. I mean, I'm the same way, so I can't really criticize, but...
See, I'm like, yeah, I think, and Matt probably was like, oh, I don't want to do that song anyway. Maybe it was, like, out of his range or something.
Yeah, I have no
like,
idea.
He's so hard on himself. He always thinks that he can't do this. He's like Tweak, you know? But songs are fantastic. Like, there isn't one song in the whole thing that I'm like, oh, this song.
Yeah, I know, same. I always get so pumped whenever the songs come on.
Like, they're all so great.
Yeah.
I think, you know, Trey is so talented. Like, I can see him doing, like, Disney. one day.
Yeah. I think going into the movie, my favorite song was What Would Brian Boitano Do? I love that song. I still like it a lot, but songs that I kind of got more appreciation for after watching this time were Up There, that Satan sings. I really like that one, actually. And then the La Resistance song, where they all the songs kind of mesh together. That one's so intense and, like, gets me so fired up. I love that one.
My favorite is probably I'm Super, because I'm Super and Uncle Fucker, because I'm such a huge musical theater fan, and that is just, like, classic vaudeville sort of brassy style Broadway show tune that I'm just such a little gay for, you know? Like, I listen to, like, I'm Super, and I, like, really get into it. I'm like, I'm Super! It makes me laugh. Like, it's beautifully scored, too. Like, they're so well scored. The music is just awesome.
I love this soundtrack.
So much for the music.
Oh.
Yeah, 10 out of 10, guys.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. This movie is the best. Go see it. It's on Netflix, which is great.
Yeah, that's how I watched it last
At
night.
the moment in time that we're talking right now, it's on Netflix.
Yeah, so don't blame us if it's not when you're listening to it.
If you're listening to it in, 2020, sorry if it's taken off of Netflix.
Yeah.
My bad.
I love the joke where a chef accidentally tells Stan to just find the clitoris to get Wendy to like you, and then Stan
And then at the end it's
he
just
doesn't
giant,
he doesn't let go of it, and he keeps looking for it, and then the clitoris is trying to give him, like, meaningful advice about how to stop the war. He's like, no, asshole, you gotta tell me how to get Wendy to like me.
But yeah, just great episode. I think this episode.
Great movie.
Great movie. I don't think a lot of people, like more casual fans would kind of say like, oh, when are they gonna make another movie? For South Park. I don't think they ever will. I really doubt there will ever be another South Park movie. I think that's kind of like a dated medium for Matt and Trey. For South Park, because
Honestly,
if they want to do something big, like they said, I think it was Trey who said, if they wanted to do something big, they'd do it on the show. So, sorry for any fan.
I mean, I get the want for another movie, and, like, it would be cool if they made one, but I honestly don't think that they need to at all, because I think this one totally stands on its own, even though it's, like, it was in 99 or whatever.
Exactly.
I think
like,
this,
Imagination Land at one point I think was going to be actual movie, but they just made it a 3-parter.
Yeah.
So, they do their own mini-movies, and now that they do the continuity thing, I don't think it'll ever happen. It would have been, I wish they would kind of re-release it in theaters, because, like I said, I was a baby when this came out.
Yeah, I would go see it.
I was like 2 or 3 years old when it came out. I'd love to go be able to see it in a theater.
That'd be great.
So I guess we're gonna wrap this up. We've been talking your ear off for a long time.
For an hour, I think.
Our editor's gonna have a lot of fun with
Oh, sorry, Sarah. Oh yeah, I don't know if we've told everybody, but we got an editor, and she's super great and talented, and we're excited.
Awesome.
We're excited to work with her.
She's actually kind of working on our first episode right now. We don't know. We're not gonna force her to get things on time. We're just happy somebody actually wants to help us out.
Yeah.
That goes for anybody listening. If you ever want to talk with us or ask us questions or help on the podcast, please contact us. And,
Yes, definitely. We want to talk to you guys.
Yeah. So,
all right.
Thanks for listening.
Yes, that's all we have for Podcasa Bonita number 2. So, bye everybody. Thank you again.